everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Making a Difference in Mental Health. I'm Danielle.
I'm Wendy.
And Wendy, today we are going to be talking about our Sister Circle first annual Women's Mental Health Conference.
Yes, last Friday.
Yes, last Friday. It was amazing. And I had the honor of being one of 5 amazing speakers.
You completely floored me. You were so good at speaking,
Thank
so
you.
talented. And it was also at a great venue. I don't know if people know about the Barbara Jordan Conference Center in Washington, D.C. on G Street. It's the Kaiser Family Foundation building, and it's a beautiful venue. Great for this conference. I think it was a lot of fun. It was so good to see you.
Yes, it's such an honor. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to fill in clips and snippets of the entire conference. Wendy actually did an interview with the founder Miss Tracy.
Yes.
Who happens to be a really good friend and colleague of yours. But we're also going to just fill in with some clips of myself speaking
and other speakers and just the venue. And it was just very exciting. It was a really great day to support women. To celebrate our wellness.
Yes. So come back because we are going to reflect on the entire day. See you soon.
Bye. We are here at the Barbara Jordan Conference Center in Washington, D.C., and we're kicking off with our Sister Circle, a nonprofit for women's first annual mental health conference. And I have with me the founder and executive director, Tracy Daniels. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you, Wendy. Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about our Sister Circle's mission and what you hope to achieve today at the first annual conference.
Thank you. So our Sister Circle's mission is a personal one because it came out of my personal triumphs and challenges in dealing with mental health. So I wanted to create a space that I didn't have, a space for Black women in particular, because we are disproportionately suffering from mental health issues, yet we are the least likely to seek help. And I wanted to provide a space where we can educate, empower, connect through sisterhood. What I'm hoping that this conference will accomplish is to build self-awareness, build connection, build empowerment, and motivate others to really ask for help when they know they need it.
That's fabulous. What a great mission. Bringing women together, empowering women, letting women know it's okay to get help for mental health issues, and just having a good day of knowledge and talking and connecting and networking. So Tracy, have a wonderful conference. Thank you so much for having ABH with you.
Thank you so much.
Our Sister Circle conference in Washington, D.C. at the Barbara Jordan Center. And Danielle, my goodness, what a great performance. She gave a wonderful presentation on Black women.
I'm just so passionate about the topic, about us kind of giving ourselves grace when it comes to being super women, when it comes to just kind of doing it all and being okay with taking our cape off, letting it rest, and, self-care. And I will say the other panelists that were before me are amazing. I'm looking forward to the panelists that are to come. And I've met a lot of women here today that have stories of their own that they've shared. And I'm so just thankful to be able to present today.
Right, so again, we're excited. ABH is in the house. We're going to see part 2 after our lunch break. And so come back and see us.
so we hope that you enjoyed the video. And right now, Wendy and I are just going to reflect on the entire day. It was such a great day.
Oh, it was amazing. You were amazing. Good communication, networking with other women, and just the spirit of the day about wellness and health of women, especially women of color. So let me give the audience a little bit of context.
Yes.
So Tracy Daniels is the founder and executive director of Our Sister Circle, a nonprofit she started a year ago to help women in wellness and focus on the disparities that women face in terms of health and mental health. And she's the sister of my very good friend, Tanya Lyons. Shout out, Tanya.
Hey, Tanya.
And Tanya was also present to give support to Tracy too. So that's the contents of how ABH got involved in that, and so happy that we were able to help with this first annual conference. And there's a lot of speakers just talking about women, health, giving a historical context, and just really forcing women to pay attention, not only to their physical health, but their mental well-being. And so the speakers on the stage, including my Danielle, talked about different aspects that women, especially women of color, face in terms of their health and well-being.
And so from the very beginning with Dr. James, she touched on more so the history when it comes to the exploration of women's mental health, their mental and emotional health, their physiological health, giving statistics and, drawing back way back in history and looking at the difference between, let's just say, white counterparts and then women of color, Black and brown women.
She gave a great historical foundation.
Right. And she comes from the American Psychiatric Association. So also her lens was through that particular organization and presenting the information so that we can have facts, data and facts.
Absolutely.
And then Miss Janine came on, and she was from Zen Wellness, and she was able to set a tone and a mood for the women we've gotten the education, we've gotten the foundation from Dr. James.
Got all the knowledge.
Right. And now it was more so like, okay, I want you to kind of go into yourself, kind of relax. I mean, even to the point where she's giving us breathing exercises, mindfulness. And I remember when she said, kind of like hug yourself and let your shoulders kind of fall. And it was almost like a unanimous one right at the very moment, all of us kind of just went, and it was a release. And it was like, we got the foundation set. And then it was almost like, okay, prepare to sit down and enjoy information about yourself as women of color that we might not be able to talk about, or we think, but we don't have this camaraderie, or, we're not always accessible one to another when it comes to talking about our mental and emotional health.
Because we're always taking care of others. And I think what I liked most about Janine and her Zen wellness is that she spoke about her own personal trauma, and, talk therapy for her wasn't enough.
Right.
She needed to get more in tune with her body and her mind and figure out other alternatives or supplements to addressing her trauma. So a lot of the Zen foundation is around being connected to your own body. A lot of mindfulness techniques that we use every day in therapy. So I thought it was a great, beginning with the knowledge, moving into it. I just had a nice flow the whole day. So the knowledge, and then we moving into, what happens with your body when you're under stress and how you can control that.
Right. So we would call it either psychosomatic or neurosomatic impacts that happen in your body. So whatever your mind is thinking, sometimes it manifests itself in your body. So if you're thinking, I'm so stressed, where does it go?
Right. And your body reacts. So she's really highlighting the importance of getting control of that and calming that down. So that was great.
Yeah. And so after Miss Janine Horn, I was able to bring up a presentation on, the impacts of being superwomen. Women of color, we tend to do it all. And one of the major highlights in the very beginning, I played the I'm Every Woman by Whitney Houston.
You got us in the mood.
I did, I'm every woman, and we're waving our hands and we're singing. And then my question really is like, but do we really want to be every woman?
Right.
Do we need to be every woman? And it was so funny because I think I added an amen in there, and everybody was like amen, right? And it kind of broke the ice a little bit, but it was like giving permission to say it's okay not to be Superwoman.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think everybody in the audience, and I was an audience participant, and that's what, when we heard that, it was like, Danielle's right. We don't have to be everything to everyone. But I think throughout the conference and the speakers, I like the one thing about taking off your cape. Yeah. Almost burning it in some instances, but people really focus on, I'm going to take it off for a few hours, do things for myself, focus on me. Right. And then when I'm recharged and re-energized, I'm going to put that cape back on so I can tackle the next thing. So I really love that. Yeah. I mean, theme. I was saying, some of the women that were in the audience were of a particular age, or they have retired. So you can afford to take that cape off and you can just, live your life, do the self-care that we always talk about. And then some of us who are still, pretty early in our careers, or we just have a passion and we're still in pursuit, it is okay still to take the cape off, because that's where that psychosomatic challenge may come in, where we're feeling stressed, we might feel it in our bodies. And the other thing I just wanted to point out, Superwoman is such a culturally accepted thing, especially within the African American community. You have Independent Woman, you have all kinds of songs that celebrate us. But getting to the statistics and the data side too, there are the medical, physical impacts of it, how it may impact the family, how it may impact interpersonal relationships. So it was fun. The music was there, but there was a purpose for every single portion of my presentation that connected with the previous presentation, that connected with the previous presentation. Yeah. So the flow was just amazing. Yeah. And your presentation was. I was just thankful to have gotten on there, presented, and was able to kind of transition over to our next presenter, which was Miss Danita, who talked about grief. And her presentation, I believe, was called Good Grief. See the play on words, everybody? Yeah. Good grief. So yes, her presentation is a topic that none of us really like to talk about, grief, but it's necessary. It happens with everyone. It happens in life. And just a focus on how it's handled in the Black community. And so she went through, I loved it, going through the different movies that handle grief, from the serious ones to the more humorous ones, and how people process grief. And so she hit keynotes about that, and the importance of seeking help, because grief can turn into something worse. It can turn into a mental disorder if it's not processed and treated correctly. Right. And she was able to point out that even though we have the cycle of grief, right, that it's not always linear. And I think also too, I really enjoyed that she self-disclosed. We were in a place at that point in time where everyone had received the psychoeducation, had received the mindfulness, and just had received, the validation that it's okay to take off your cape. And listen, if you're hurting, it's okay. This is the quiet part that many of us don't talk about. And I love, like you said, she used movie clips and she juxtaposed different ways that people process grief. Some of it was funny, some of it was serious, very serious, touching. And I truly enjoyed her presentation. So it's good to know a colleague that we now are in communication with, that specializes in grief. So and we kind of had a local star on another Love and Marriage DC. Yes, Love and Marriage DC, Miss Ashley Silva, DJ Quicksilva, here in the Maryland DMV area, is a very, very popular DJ, and his wife came on to the panel to discuss even some of her challenges with mental health, just being in entertainment, being a reality star, how to balance that with, who she really is as a person, and then her persona on TV, and how that can be, difficult, and how she talked about her struggles. She had been struggling with mental health since she was a teenager. And because of being a woman of color, a kid of color, just being, oh, poo-poo, you're okay. Your life is great. And everybody just poo-pooed it along for years, and it really manifested into something significant.
Right. And also what we talked about too, for people of color, generationally, for her, she was explaining that, well, I've been dealing with just pushing off the grief, or, oh, that's only something white people experience, or, oh, that's only something this group might experience. So in her mindset was like, okay, well, I guess I'm just built to experience this, not knowing that there were avenues for her to openly talk about and discuss, and to say, no, that's not normal. We don't want to normalize just going through life bearing the brunt and the weight of depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation.
Right. And she had all of that. And it took her many, many years to understand that, yes, there is the help.
Right.
Yes, I need to take the help. And yes, I can have a better way of life. And so that was really interesting. A lot of interesting questions from the audience, just from a star perspective.
Right.
But other than that, that was her journey. And then we wrapped up the day with
Jamie Cook.
Yes, she was awesome.
She was great. Oh my goodness. If she's not a comedian, Jamie, you need to be a comedian. But
that's right. You got skills, girl.
Yes. At the same time, I feel like she was the closer. Like she
brought it all
rounded out the entire conference. What were your thoughts and reflections on her portion?
I love the fact that she's retired military. So she's retired Army. So she's had a lot of great life experiences, and just like what she was sharing about how she went through life and then all of a sudden decided, I'm going to adopt some kids and become a mom all over again. But she was just telling us, really sharing her role at being in the military, being a mom, being the auntie, being the wife, and just being pulled in so many directions. And I could really relate with her because she's of my age. And so when you get to be around my age, you want to burn your cave. Like, I'm okay. I don't need it. I'm gonna burn it because now I'm going to take care of me. And so she's realized she was in school to obtain a doctorate, and it was just a lot of things going on, and she had to hit the pause button because her health started to suffer. And so she realized, I have to make a change. Definitely have to make a change so that I can be on this earth, basically, and do the things I want to do. So I love that story that she told. And again, the permission that's given, that when it becomes too much, you have to prioritize. You have to prioritize you, and then everything else. And then you have to set those hard boundaries with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, so that you can function and go on. So
and I think it's interesting that all of us, in a sense, and even the women in the audience, have maybe felt like we can do it all, or maybe generationally or just innately we feel like I have to do it all, or I'm built to do it all.
Right.
And it was like the whole day was just giving permission to say, it's okay. We're here for one another. Know the history. Understand the connection to your mind, spirit, and body.
Yes.
It's okay to take the cape off.
Look for your resources.
If you're experiencing grief, and grief doesn't necessarily have to mean a loss of a loved one, but she said it could be a loss of a job, or it could be loss in a change of routine. It's okay to step back. And then for Jamie, take a pause, take a beat, take a knee.
Yes, she said that quite often. Take a knee. That's such a military term.
Just to say, I need a timeout. I need a moment. I need to gather myself. What good am I to anyone if I'm not good? Okay.
Yeah, I need to collect my thoughts, collect my feelings, collect my emotions, and come up with a plan to move forward. So it was an amazing day. I love it when we can celebrate women. We can share knowledge. We can network. We can chat. It just makes it all worth the while. So I commend Tracy Daniels and her nonprofit, Our Sister Circle. I mean, this is so invaluable. It's such a necessary nonprofit. I know that her organization does things throughout the year. There's a golf tournament coming.
I believe it's October 3rd.
Yes, they do groups for women. So it's a big thing, and I'm glad that ABH could be a part of it.
Yes. So if you're interested in supporting Our Sister Circle, we will have that information at the end of this podcast. But before we go, I also want to thank Wendy for just being a cheerleader and a supporter and, a belief in the podcast and beyond. This, honestly, I don't think would have happened, Wendy, just an opportunity to be able to speak on something that we're both really passionate about, but me in the forefront. If Wendy hadn't just said, hey, I know somebody named Danielle and she'd be able to do it. I also want to thank Vera for just having enough confidence that, hey, we can send someone out. We can send you both out. You already do the podcast together, right. But we can send someone out to represent advanced behavioral health, as well as mental health efforts, awareness, psychoeducation. So I am very thankful and will always be thankful for my partner in crime, Wendy, when it comes to the podcast and beyond. I'm saying and beyond. I'm putting it out there and beyond.
ABH is always innovating and we're always looking to do more things, have more opportunities. So again, thank you, Danielle. Such an amazing speaker. I can't say that enough. And, people who know me know I know people. Like, I know this person, might not be able to do it, but I know somebody that can do it. So, so always reach out. Yes. Don't be afraid.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching another episode. I think we have wrapped up everything for the day. It was such a busy day, a wonderful day. But we're so thankful for you watching. We're always appreciative of you watching. I'm Danielle.
I'm Wendy.
This is Making a Difference in Mental Health. We're always striving to make a difference in mental health.